Greetings, YouTube. I don't have children. I have never wanted children. Um, at 14, I decided I didn't want to be a parent, and I have never changed my mind. It's been almost 40 years. I had one brief brush with parenthood. The first woman I ever loved became pregnant. She had an abortion, so I did not become a parent. I believe that she became a parent later in life. I believe she has a couple of daughters. Um, I haven't spoken to her since I was 19. So, um, and I do occasionally encounter people that are surprised that I don't have kids. And the ones that seem most surprised and the ones that seem to think it's the least significant of a deal to just have them are a lot of the people that are come from other countries outside the United States. And it seems to be ubiquitous. It doesn't matter if they're from South America, Central America, Europe, Africa, or Asia. Um, when I tell them I don't have children, many of them, particularly if they're younger, their attitude just seems to be like, "Yeah, just have some kids. They have a kid, it's easy." And I don't think it's easy. I think being a parent, in fact, is the hardest job there is in the entire universe. And I frankly think that most people are horrible at it, as a testament to the condition of the world we're in today. If people were better parents, the world would be a happier place. I think that you should be required to have a license to have kids, and you have to have passed a test to have kids and have training. And I think most people should be wisely not having them until they're 25, so they have some life experience under their belt and they can make the intentional choice whether they're going to have kids or not. Um, but one of the things I have never really experienced personally has been moral outrage. I'm linking to an article below which is going to discuss the fact that sometimes people such as myself who are child-free, I prefer child-free to childless. If childless implies that you're missing something, I'm not missing anything. I just don't have kids. So I'm child-free, and I know other people who are child-free or who just haven't had children yet, particularly women, have dealt with moral outrage from people. Like, how dare you not have children? Why have you not had children by age, fill in the blank, whatever age they think is the proper cutoff point for having children. Um, some people decide to have children late in life. My sister had her first child at 40. In fact, I never thought my sister was going to have children. Then again, I figured she would never marry a man either, but she did. I figured she would have married a woman, and they would have just had pets. And she was in long-term relationships with women, and they had pets. They had a house, so I was kind of surprised after that relationship collapsed that she dated a guy and married a guy and had children. It caught me off guard. Um, in fact, most of my friends were like, "She married a guy?" It was kind of funny. But I mean, I'm glad I have nephews, I guess. But I didn't judge my sister for not having kids, and my feelings for my sister would not have changed in the least if she'd never had children, or she decided to adopt or become a foster parent, or just remain child-free forever. I'm not going to impose a moral judgment on a person whether they don't have kids. Now, I'm going to free up front right now that people who have more than 2 children, I tend to judge. If you have replacement kids, I can understand that. I think the world would be a better place if we had fewer humans. Um, but if you have replacement children, and particularly because you feel that your family line needs to be passed on for whatever reason, cultural, whatever, you feel that's important, okay. More than 2, yeah, I've got a problem with that. I think that that's selfish. It's interestingly, a lot of people who don't have children do get the selfish concept. A lot of times people will say, "Well, you're just selfish." And I know, I don't think not having children is selfish. Really, I don't. It just means I don't want kids. And if you're having a child because you feel a need to have a kid, because you think it's your right to raise a human being in a particular manner, that you need to pass down your culture to someone, whether they want your values or not, I question that. That doesn't seem like the healthiest goal. If you want to have a child and help them become happiest person they can conceivably be, regardless of their personal um, belief system. And you make sure you raise them so that they're healthy and they understand the world around them, and you give them the freedom they need to become the person they want to be. That's cool. If you have a high tolerance and high discipline model, which is the best model in my opinion, as opposed to low tolerance, high discipline, or high tolerance, low discipline. So both of those models are just bad. Um, but a high tolerance and high discipline means that your child has ample opportunities to be who they want to be, understands that there is a system of rules and codes, and they have to live by them. And hopefully, when they become adults, they will figure out if they want to keep the ones that they had acquired while being raised, or they want to go off in a new direction. But if they can't do that because they've been brainwashed through propaganda, convinced there is only one way of being in the world, of acquiring the prejudices and the intolerances of their parents. That's why I say that a lot of people just aren't qualified for the job. And if parents are going to judge people that don't have children, well, that's ugly. And I know there are people who have dealt with that, particularly women. How dare you haven't had children? That's an attitude, literally an attitude. I know of one woman, I had read her story online, where she had to have a hysterectomy due to medical reasons. It wasn't necessarily her choice. She literally bled constantly, and during her actual menstrual cycle, it was life-threatening. So she had to have this taken care of. And one of the nurses was just like, "You haven't had children, and you should wait and not have this procedure until you have kids." She just would not let up. She considered the concept that a woman having a hysterectomy at a young age was a moral outrage. I know a gender fluid person that wanted to be sterilized, and they could not get sterilized at the age they wanted to because the medical community said that no, you have to wait to age X, because until then you could just flippantly change your mind. You could just make a snap decision and say, "I want to have children today." Except they didn't make that snap decision. They knew they didn't want children. They didn't have children. And as soon as they were able to, they got themselves sterilized. That it was not a possibility. And I applaud their sticking to their guns and leading their life the way they want to. So I want to know, have you folks out there ever encountered moral outrage if you don't have children? And this will disappoint me if any of my subscribers have ever tried to impose moral outrage upon someone who doesn't have children. As I've said in the past, the only uterus you should control is your own. That's it. If you don't have a uterus, you don't get to make those kind of decisions. If you are in a relationship with someone who has a uterus and they don't want to use that uterus for child production and you want kids, well, it might be time to go find somebody new. But imposing that idea on them and making a moral judgment and harassing them because they don't want that, that's ugly. And it's something that we shouldn't do to each other. So I guess let's talk about kids. In the past, this has been a controversial topic on my channel. Let's see how it goes.